Hi there, Evan here at the Chronicle for Thursday, March 19th, 2020, where that future starts today. First up, Bank of England joining the long list of central banks who have added stimulus into the global economy. This morning announced $200 billion worth of QE, along with a laugh out loud 5 basis point rate cut from 0.15 to 0.1%. And this round of QE includes corporate buying. The reason why I put this up here, it shows a broader point that I think will come true in the US. George Gammon, if you do follow him, is of the belief that the Fed will buy stocks and corporate bonds. Now, in order to go ahead and do that, there has to be a law passed through Congress to allow the central bank to go ahead and do this, or maybe, although I haven't done the work on it, can be a national emergency signed by the President of the United States to declare something like this. But again, the last part, I have to do more work. Now, there's a lot of people out there who do think we're going to see more negative rates from central banks around the world. And I understand a lot of those arguments. Personally, myself, I made this clear on this channel, I believe once before, I'm in the George Gammon camp. The Federal Reserve in the US will buy stocks and corporate bonds before they go into negative rates. Central banks globally, in my opinion, are starting to see the experiment, how it's gone for the ECB, and the negative societal impacts it has had. In fact, this is the main reason Sweden themselves hiked out of negative rates late last year. They mentioned this societal impact. And that's the big reason central banks are going to be hesitant to go into negative rates. Okay? So my belief, I'm in the George Gammon camp. The Fed will eventually buy stocks, buy corporate bonds, however they get the bill passed to let them do it. Again, I'll leave that in the lawmakers' hands, but that will happen before negative rates. And by the way, George Gammon did a fantastic video a couple of days ago where he outlines the case for the Fed to buy stocks. I'll leave a link to that video in the description down below. Next story I'm going to cover. Remember the CMHC, this announcement from the other day about the 6 months deferred mortgage payments for those affected by the virus? Well, apparently this doesn't include the trust companies. Look at this reply here by Home Trust to a client this morning. Judging by this, look at the share prices of both Home Capital and Equitable Group the last month and a half. As I leave these charts on screen here for you, one phrase holds true. A picture says 1,000 words. And back to this whole announcement the CMHC made about deferring mortgage payments. Here's the thing. If you're current on your mortgage, have been current on your mortgage in the past, and you're in a situation based on your job or whatever it is, call your lender, they'll work with you fine. Okay? The last things a lender wants to do is take away your home. It's costly for them, and frankly, putting it lightly, a massive hassle. So please, if you're current, have been current, and need some assistance, call your lender. They'll work with you fine, okay? So just going ahead and putting that out there for you. And another thing with the CMHC announcement, another thing, which I'll get more into in a minute, the government stimulus that was announced yesterday. How about renters? How about people already living only paycheck to paycheck and barely have a few $100 in savings? How about them? In either one of those announcements, is there anything in there for them? Again, I'll go ahead and leave it there. Just keep all that in mind. And for which I foreshadowed, our last story of the day is about the government stimulus announced yesterday. 80 or 85 billion, whatever it was. I mean, look, at the end of it, if you're living paycheck to paycheck and need immediate help, there's frankly nothing in here for you. In fact, all of this stimulus, aka stimulus being announced, is really just deferred payments. I mean, there could be something here for you, maybe that $10 billion, where if you're laid off or have lost hours because of the virus and you don't get sick leave, maybe they might give you something. But from first glance, it sounds like way too much bureaucracy. And even if there is assistance they can give you, it comes way too late for you anyways. Oh, and from a societal standpoint, another headwind about the hit here. School boards across North America had kept their schools locked down for 2 weeks because of the virus after March break. And the plan was to bring the kids back in early April. Now there's talk from many school boards across North America that this is going to be extended, and in some cases, until the end of the semester. So instead of these kids being at school during the day, they're now going to be at home, which now means an additional cost to take care of the kids at home while the schools are locked down. Whether it's a parent has to stay home and not work, whether both parents go to work and the kids have to go to a sitter or go into childcare, etc. There's going to be an extra expense here surely for them. And we can't discount that. Now forget economic here. Let's look at it from a societal standpoint. People have families, people have kids' mouths to feed, people have to keep roofs over their heads, and people are now worried, if not already lost their jobs, as the economy is cratering into a deep recession. What happens to society in that? Crime picks up, homelessness picks up, and frankly, you start seeing chaos everywhere. And that's, I think, ultimately what's going to happen here. The point I'm trying to make here is, instead of all the deferrals and all the bureaucracy announced in the stimulus yesterday, unless you get cash into the Canadians' hands you need it most, this frankly does nothing. Now, as far as the economy goes, as I mentioned many times on this channel, by the end of 2020, we were going to be in a recession anyways, so that doesn't change. Maybe once we get rid of the virus, maybe once we get over it, we see a bit of a pickup, end of Q3 into beginning of Q4, but after that, the end of the business cycle takes hold. So that hasn't changed. What I'm trying to say is, from a societal standpoint, if you could put the cash in their hands now, it keeps society in a recessionary framework instead of a deep recessionary framework / depressionary framework. That's what I'm saying here. That's all I'm going to say. Smash that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, follow both my accounts on Twitter, and as always, my name is Evan. This is the Chronicle, where that future starts today.